Alhamdulillah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah, the MJC Social Development Department deals with all types of counseling. It is the counseling aspect or department of the Muslim Judicial Council. We counsel marital counseling, individual counseling, family counseling, children counseling, trauma counseling, rape counseling, children's counseling. So we try to assist families and the community out there in stabilizing the community and their homes, inshallah. And alhamdulillah, the first thing that we want to kind of make mention of is that as a Muslim community, we like to sweep everything under the carpet and not speak about certain topics because it is taboo within our community. And that is why you don't hear topics like gender-based violence within the Muslim community, or even from our pulpits or being lectured at any form or any platform. But it is something that is unfortunately very rife in our community. For example, if you're looking at the Social Development Department of the MJC, 90% of the cases that comes to the Social Development Department where there is marital issues is because of some sort of abuse from one spouse to the other. So when we speak about gender-based violence, we're really speaking, it is not gender specific. But during the 16 days of activism, the cause is really standing for any type of violence against women and children. Because women and children are the most vulnerable in our community. And there's many reasons for it. Because even when we speak, and sometimes we as humans or imams and lecturers, we make the mistake and we refer to women and children, or women specifically, as the weaker sex. But weaker in what? You know, where Allah Ta'ala had placed us on the same daraja, the same level. There's no difference between men and women. The day of Qiyamah, when we stand in the court of Allah, Allah is not going to ask you, so how did you make salah as a man? And how did you make salah as a female? Or when you went to perform Hajj, Allah is not going to ask you, so you performed Hajj as a male, so how was the experience? And you performed Hajj as a female. So when we stand before Allah, we're exactly the same. Physically, there's many differences. What we can do physically as well, there's differences between men and women. But that does not give us the right to treat one another differently. You know, we are humans, but more importantly, we are the creation of Allah. And this is why this is a topic that is very near and dear to our hearts, especially from the Social Development Department, because we unfortunately see it firsthand in a community that is guided by the Book of Allah, of how we need to treat one another. We are a community of a Prophet who says that I have come to you with no other favor and no other lesson but to teach you good akhlaq, good character. And the good character is not, you know, it is not specific, it is not khas, it is general. It is not, I must have good character with my boss because he gives me my paycheck at the end of the month. I must have good character with somebody that, you know, I can find favor with. Good character is a blanket statement. And again, you know, it is so apt that the 16 days of activism also falls in the month of Rabi al-Awwal this year, the birth month of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know, and we need to take from him on how he lived his life. When we think about Islam, you know, when Allah speaks about His creation, specifically men and women, mankind, you know, our blood is so sacred that Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that it is even more sacred than the Holy Kaaba. So this is how we need to treat one another, and this is the importance of bringing to light this gender-based violence in this march. And it is unfortunate that we have to have a march like this, you know, highlighting the plight of women and giving them a voice because of abuse. It is unfortunate, but it must be done. Because abuse, unfortunately, whether it is physical, emotional, mental, financial, whatever the type of abuse is, it is unfortunately rife, even within our own community. Well, a good human being will respond to gender-based violence as Allah Ta'ala speaks to us in the Quran, where He says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kunu qawwamina bil qisti shuhada'a lillah, that we need to stand up for justice in the service of Allah, walau ala anfusikum, even if it is against myself. So we all have our shortcomings, we all have our tempers, however it may be, but how we control ourselves. For example, you know, anger, when we speak about anger, it is almost to the point where we think anger is haram. It is not haram in the deen of Islam. How can an emotion be haram? But the importance of our emotions is how we control it. You know, so we need to stand up and be that voice for the voiceless. How many people have come to you and said, you know what, my husband is abusing me? Almost nobody comes out and says it, especially to family members. But how often do we not see it and we say nothing? And we will think to ourselves, no, somebody else is going to do something. Or we're waiting for someone to stand up and do something. I have this inclination of standing up and saying, stop it, man. But I'm waiting for my neighbor to do it, I'm waiting for my brother to do it, I'm waiting for someone to do it. And because of the waiting, the perpetrator gets away with what he or she is doing, or specifically what he is doing to his wife or his children. So it is now the importance of us as Muslims is to stand up and say, no, man, this is wrong. And I want to speak to every male listening to this. Here we remind us that we're speaking about violence against women. And me as a man, I'm saying today emphatically, not in my name as a man. This is not who men are. This is not who I am. And this is the reason why we as males need to outnumber females at this march. Because we are the ones that are looked upon to be those oppressors against the ones whom we're supposed to love. On a daily basis, we see at the MGC about 25 couples or 25 cases that comes through our door, and 90% of those cases are because of some sort of abuse from one spouse to the other, and more specifically, from males towards their wives. And this is the sad reality. Even though Allah says in the Quran, وَالرِّجَالُ قَوَّامُونَ عَلَى النِّسَاءِ, that men are the protectors of women. But it is the same men that carries the title of a protector that is the one that is harming his spouse. So that is something that is, it is sad. It is a sad reality that this is something that is happening. We understand we are all human. So we're not saying that we're going out and standing up against the perpetrators only. We are inviting the perpetrators to come to this march, because there's a cycle of abuse. The person that is hurt will hurt. This is the cycle that is out there. The one who is being hurt is going to hurt, but it must stop somewhere. And we're saying today that it can stop by you.